What's up guys, my name is Witty and today we are going to talk about Sanctuary's Diablo.trade website. Now, I've been asked a lot of questions about this website, how to use it, how it works. It's a lot of information that gets thrown at you at one time if you've never been on a website like this. So today we're going to walk through the process of how you can price check things, how you can list something, how you can offer on things, etc, etc. In a way, the marketplace on Diablo 4 is kind of like a whole nother game in and of itself, so it depends on how serious you want to be with it, but it can get pretty crazy. Now, when you first get to this website, you are going to notice the login button at the top right, and one of the most common questions I've got is actually if it's safe to log in with your Battle.net here, and there's actually text just below the login that you can click, and it will go over all of this for you, but the long story short is that essentially this functions the same way as using your Discord to sign into something or connecting your Discord to something. The only thing that Diablo.trade gets access to is your Battle.net tag. That is essentially it. No login information, no password. It doesn't even get your character names from Diablo. It just gets your battle tag, and that's it. So what we're going to do is click the login button. Obviously, since I've logged in before, it just logged me straight in. It will prompt you to accept and maybe log into Battle.net and all this other fun stuff. Knock that out, and once you've gotten signed in, we're actually going to talk about navigating the website, which thankfully is actually really easy to do. As it stands, this site is incredibly useful as a resource, and so we're going to talk about it in its current state, and maybe we'll make a future video once things are updated. As you can see at the top left, if you hover over Marketplace, you'll be able to buy items and services here. If you hover over My Listings, you will see your listings of items and your listings of services. The frequently asked questions is just going to help you out with a bunch of stuff. There's trading etiquette guidelines and all kinds of fun things. And the community is essentially the link to the Discord and a link to support the developers of the site if you so please, which you should do. The only other things that are really useful are at the top right of the screen. You have the Create Listing button, which we're not going to get into quite yet, but as a drop down, you also have Settings, and this is where you can connect your Discord, connect your Battle.net, change your avatar. Your ignored users will pop up here, and as expected, you can unignore them. Pretty self-explanatory. Once I refresh, they're off the list. Now, this button here is for your inbox. If you have any new messages, they will pop up here. If not, you can just click View All, and you will actually see all of your messages. If you click Create Listing, you will have a few different options here. First, you could decide to paste an image here if you happen to have screenshotted what you're trying to sell, and it would automatically pull all of the needed information and fill it in for you. This is exactly how I would recommend that you upload items in particular, because it saves you probably 3 or 4 minutes on every item. If you are going to list a consumable or a service, those are done a little bit differently. We will talk about items in just a second. However, for a consumable, you can either do the same thing by screenshotting, or since these are relatively easy to do, once you click on consumable, you need to choose the proper category. Let's say we are doing a Shard of Agony. So we will go for Boss Materials. Under Materials, we would click Shard of Agony, and it will pop up over here. And then we will list how many we're trying to sell. Let's say we have a stack, which is 50, and then the price per item. And let's say we want 3 million each. So we put 3 million, and then we simply hit Submit. You will click Confirm, and then if I go to My Listings, you see I have 50 Shards of Agony for 3 million each. Now we are going to get rid of that because I don't actually want to sell those, but that is what it would look like for a consumable. As far as services go, it is relatively similar, but it's arguably even easier. So let's say we wanted to sell a service of running 101 pits for people. Now, you have two options. You can input a custom title and custom description, and then you obviously need to leave how many slots you have open for this service. If you note the top where it says Import Preset, if you click that, and then you scroll down here and look around, you might just be able to find what you are trying to sell. In this case, we don't actually have a pit run option here, so let's just say we wanted to do Nightmare Dungeons instead. We will click on this, and you do have to change a few things. Now, we are going to be doing Nightmare Dungeon tier 100s, and we are looking for 20 mil every 5 runs, let's just say. And if you wanted to change any of this text, now would be the time. You leave how many slots you have open, let's say we have 2, and then at the bottom for listing price, you need to decide if you want the exact price that you're listing, or if you're willing for people to haggle with you a little bit. I am going to allow people to haggle this time, and we will go ahead and, since we said 20 mil for 5 runs, we will put 20 mil here. And the category is actually Dungeons, Power Level, and America. Don't forget that like I did just then. That's pretty important. I guess it won't let you post anyways. But once we hit submit and confirm, this would be live. And in order to view it, you would hover my listings and go to my services, and it would pop up here. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about items. And in order to do this, I do need to get in game. Let's say you just got done running a pit and you got this really cool drop. I have one that we will list now right here. This sword has 3 greater affixes, 2 of which are actually useful, and I know it'll sell for something. I'm curious what it would sell for and what price I should list it for. So let's run through how you can find that out. Now, when you do create a listing for equipment, this is what that screen will look like. You can, of course, leave the price at 0 and taking offers, which will essentially just mean the highest bid will win, or whatever number you're happy with in your messages will win. You can, of course, put an actual price and select exact price. You can put an actual price and allow offers that are below that. It is completely up to you. However, what we're going to go over first is how you can import all the information of that sword without having to actually input all the information yourself. So we're going to hover over the sword here, and you're going to, on Windows, hold your Windows key, Shift and S, and this should allow you to take a screenshot. You want to highlight this area right here. And once that screenshot is taken, we're going to pop back over, and it is on your clipboard. It is copied. So we're going to Control V to paste it. And as you can see, all of the information from the sword, just as it is on my game, is now on the trade website. And I can simply input the amount of sockets and the price, and we are good to go. This sword has no sockets, and I don't exactly know the price yet. Before we list this, before we submit, before we put a price, we're actually going to open a second tab and look at the items, and we want to find our sword, or one that is close to it, and that is effectively how we are going to price check. We're going to do this by clicking on the filter button. We need to make sure that seasoned softcore or hardcore or whatever applies to you is checked. We want to click equipment type and scroll down to find sword. You can also just type in the search bar there. Now we're going to go down to effects, and we're going to add a group. This effect group is going to contain the affixes that are on our weapon, which, if you remember, are vulnerable damage and maximum life. Those are the 2 that are important, and they're both greater affixes. So we're going to type vulnerable damage, and we're going to click the greater affix button, and then we're going to type life, and we're going to do the same thing. Then we can click out here, and as you can see, a sword like this is listed for 9 bill at the moment. It was listed 3 minutes ago. This does not mean that is the price. As you can see, if you scroll down a little bit, this has dexterity, and it's going for 35. This one has strength, and it's going for 30. Again, it's very important that you understand these are not the price. The best way to determine the price for items isn't what you see that is available, it is what is sold. Now, if we click the filter button again and click on sold listings at the very top right, you will see that these have been selling pretty actively. There's 3 right there just in the last hour, and a couple more in the last 2 or 3. This sword here is virtually identical to ours, and it last sold for 500 mil 3 hours ago. Now, you do want to look at other options, not just the first one you see, because it is pretty common that someone that doesn't know any better will list a sword up for a cheaper price than it's worth, and it will get bought instantly, and they don't know what they've lost. And then people afterwards will start selling for that price and not know what they're losing either, etc., etc. Oftentimes you will see a situation like this, where it is only a 2 listed as the amount sold, and essentially what that means is that person was too lazy to type out 9 zeros. It was 2 billion, more than likely, and they didn't feel like typing it, so you get 2. It has life on hit. We don't want to add that. However, we can add something like strength, and we can cap it out at 90. And as you can see, there is our 500 million gold culprit, but right beside it, just an hour before, one sold for 5 times that. So it can cause some problems with prices. You really do have to look a little more than surface level. But if you do, as you can see here, you can make anywhere from 5 to 7 times the amount of money. So we see that we have a sword that is worth somewhere in the realm of maybe 1.5, given this one, to 3.5 bill. Not bad at all, of course, especially for a random pit. Now, they do apparently sell for a little bit higher on occasion, so if you're willing to sit on items, of course, you may make more money, you may not sell it at all. Because of all this, though, we are going to list ours for 3.5, just to match one of the recently sold, but on the high end, because we know that the last one listed that has an actual price was 5, 3.49, 9, 10, etc., etc. So if we list ours for 3.5 now, we should be able to get a sale pretty quickly. So we will hit submit and confirm, and if we go to our listings, we will see this sword listed here. Now, another thing I feel the need to touch on, just in case, let's say your item isn't selling. You've had it on here for, perfect, 7 hours, and you haven't gotten a single offer on it. Chances are that you may have read the price history wrong, and that's perfectly normal. That happens to all of us. Simply edit the listing, and if you scroll down, let's say we wanted to change this to 7 billion instead of 8, and then we just click submit and confirm, and it is updated. It's as simple as that. If you end up selling something, in the message that you sell something, you can actually hover over the bars here, click mark as sold, and then list the sale price, and click mark as sold one more time. This will remove it from your item listings. You won't see it here anymore, and it will be essentially in the sale history forever. You can view items that you have sold as well. They do clear out every once in a while, but you can look at them here. And honestly, I think that's just about going to do it for this video. I hope this was able to help some of you out that weren't so tech savvy, or maybe hadn't really experimented with the website to fully learn about it yet. Hopefully this was able to just give you some quick pointers, and now everything makes a little bit more sense. In Season 5, this is going to be very, very important, especially early on, if you want to make gold and not have to struggle throughout the season. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Peace.